Cutting across live to the live visuals that we're getting right now. Now ahead of the presentation of the 2025-26 budget, President Draupadi Murmu to commence the budget session of the Parliament today. As you know, there you can see these are the live visuals that we're getting on our screens. The cavalcade in place to escort President Draupadi Murmu to the Parliament.
सेरेमोनियल प्रोसेस के तहत राष्ट्रपति का ये प्रस्थान होने जा रहा है राष्ट्रपति भवन से। आधिकारिक समारोहिक कार्यक्रम के बाद राष्ट्रपति द्रौपदी मुर्मू राष्ट्रपति भवन से संसद भवन के लिए प्रस्थान करते हुए बग्गी में बैठ।
These are the live visuals that we're getting right now from New Delhi. President Draupadi Murmu is on her way to the Parliament for the joint session, where ahead of the presentation of the budget, which is tomorrow, President Draupadi Murmu will commence the budget session of the Parliament today with an address on to a joint sitting of both the houses. Following which, Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will table the economic survey of 2024 to 25 in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, which is essentially an official assessment of the performance of the economy in the ongoing financial year, and it lists out the challenges being faced by the nation as well. So the budget session will then be held from the 31st of January to the 4th of April. This will happen in two phases. The first part of the session will end on the 13th of February and will begin again on the 10th of March. There you can see the presidential cavalcade and President Draupadi Murmu on her way to the Parliament to commence the budget session today. Of the joint session, we also heard Prime Minister Narendra Modi address the media. Innovation, inclusion and investment have been the foundation of our economic roadmap. This was one of the highlights of his address. He said that today at the beginning of the budget session, I also offer my respects to the goddess of wealth, mentioning how the country has completed 75 years as a republic, and this first full budget of the third term will provide new energy towards the fulfillment of the goal of a Viksit Bharat by 2047. That's when India completes 100 years of independence. From what we do know so far from his address is that in the third term, there will be a push towards holistic progress, innovation, inclusion and investment, which will be a foundation for the economic roadmap ahead. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will be making history with her 8th consecutive union budget, has worked with key officials to prepare a budget for the financial year of 2026. The budget, of course, as we were discussing earlier on the show as well, will have to address several challenges, including decelerating economic growth, falling value of the rupee against the US dollar, and moderation in consumption demands. These emerge as some of the major issues that the economy faces at the moment. The economic growth is estimated to slow to a 4-year low of 6.4% in the financial year 2025. This is the lowest growth since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic back in 2019. Now, on account of various factors, of course, the rupee plunged to an all-time low of 86.7 per US dollar earlier this month.
राष्ट्रपति का अभिभाषण
These are some
होगा।
of the issues which will need to be addressed.
हालांकि धुंध में
At the moment, from the live visuals that we're getting right now, President Draupadi Murmu is on her way to commence the budget session of the Parliament today.
ये सभी सेरेमोनियल प्रोसेसेस, ये सभी समारोहिक बिंदु जो हमारे देश की गौरवमयी छवि भी प्रस्तुत करते हैं।
In a short while from now, President Draupadi Murmu will commence the budget session of the Parliament with an address to a joint sitting of both the houses, following which Nirmala Sitharaman will table the economic survey in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, which will provide an official assessment of the performance of the economy in the ongoing financial year and also list out the challenges. The joint session will commence in a few minutes from now. Going back to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's address to the media, another important thing that he mentioned said that you must have noticed that since 2014, this is the first Parliament session which saw no foreign interference in our affairs, in which no foreign forces try to ignite a fire. I noticed this before every budget session, and many in our country leave no stone unturned to fan these sparks. Other than that, his focus was on innovation, inclusion and investment to provide a foundation for the economic roadmap to further aid the goals of Vikasit Bharat by 2047, which is when India will complete 100 years of independence.
तस्वीरों में आप देख सकते हैं ऐतिहासिक अवसर राष्ट्रपति का
A positive note struck by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his address to the media before the joint session of the Parliament. However, as I was mentioning earlier, there are still several challenges which need to be addressed, including the decelerating economic growth, falling value of the rupee against the US dollar and moderation in consumption demand.
ये सभी समारोह और समारोहिक दृश्य हम सब में गर्व की अनुभूति पैदा करते हैं। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का अब से कुछ ही देर पहले जो संबोधन हुआ वो भी इसी तथ्य को रेखांकित करता है कि विकसित भारत
The budget, as you know, is scheduled to be presented tomorrow. That's on the 1st of February.
और उससे पहले बजट सत्र से पहले राष्ट्रपति द्रौपदी मुर्मू का ये काफिला जो संसद भवन की ओर
Of course, many questions ahead of the budget. Taxpayers, of course, are wondering if the government will finally make the new tax regime more attractive. And there is the question of could long-awaited deductions and reliefs be on the horizon, something which we will have to wait and watch out for. All eyes are on potential tax relief measures, especially for salaried individuals. A key expectation is the inclusion of deductions like Section 80C and house rent allowance or HRA under the new tax regime. Currently, taxpayers opting for the new regime miss out on those benefits. These are just some of the issues and some of the concerns ahead of the budget. As per reports, they suggest that the government is considering making the new regime more appealing by allowing deductions on HRA. Reportedly, other major proposals which are under discussion includes increasing the standard deduction limit from 75,000 rupees to 1 lakh rupees. Additionally, a reduction in income tax rates for individuals earning up to 15 lakh rupees is being explored to ease the burden on the middle class as well.
अग्रसर है आज का भारत। ये दृश्य जो हमें हमारे इतिहास का गौरव पर भी
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will table the Economic Survey 2025 after President Draupadi Murmu initiates the financial year 2025-26 budget session of the Parliament with an address to both the houses. There you can see President Draupadi Murmu on her way to address the joint session of the Parliament.
राष्ट्रपति भवन के ceremonial guards
The Indian economy is projected to expand by 6.6% in 2025, and this is primarily supported by robust private consumption and investment, as per a UN report. Once again, to let our viewers know, there you can see the presidential cavalcade, President Draupadi Murmu on your screens right now, on her way to address the joint session of the Parliament. President Draupadi Murmu will commence the budget session of the Parliament with an address to a joint sitting of both the houses. Following this, Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will table the Economic Survey 2024 to 2025 ahead of the budget, which is to be presented tomorrow. That's on the 1st of February. In both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, this economic survey will be tabled today, providing an official assessment of the performance of the economy in the ongoing financial year, as well as listing out the challenges that are being faced by the nation at the moment. The budget session will be held from 31st to the 4th of April. This will happen in two phases. The first part of the session will begin on the 31st and end on the 13th. The second phase will begin on the 10th of March up until the 4th of April. Ahead of the joint session of the Parliament, Prime Minister Modi also mentioned how ours is a young nation and today 20-25-year-olds will be the greatest beneficiaries of Vikasit Bharat by the time they will be 50 years old. They will be at the helm of policy making and will lead efforts to fulfill our vision of Vikasit Bharat. President Draupadi Murmu has arrived at the Parliament, as you can see on your screens right now. In a short while from now, she will commence the budget session of the Parliament today. In a few minutes from now, President Draupadi Murmu will commence the budget session. She is at the Parliament.
संसद भवन परिसर का ये दृश्य जहां बस कुछ ही पलों में उनका कारवा पहुंचने वाला है। बग्घी पर सवार होकर इस देश की मुखिया पहुंच चुकी हैं। और इसी के साथ संसद भवन परिसर में राष्ट्रपति का कारवा पहुंच चुका है। कुछ ही पलों में उनका स्वागत और 11 बजे का जो वक्त निर्धारित किया गया है, दोनों सदनों में उनका संयुक्त संबोधन।
All right, President Draupadi Murmu has arrived at the Parliament and in a short while from now will commence the budget session of the Parliament with an address to a joint sitting of both the houses. These are the live visuals that we're getting right now on your screens, as you can see. There you can see the Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar also at the Parliament. Just a few minutes ago, we saw Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar at the Parliament to welcome President Draupadi Murmu for the joint session of the Parliament today, the budget session today. There you can see the presidential cavalcade has arrived.
करते हुए कुछ ही पलों में जब उनका अभिभाषण होगा संयुक्त अधिवेशन में, तो देश की आशा, विश्वास और नीतियों का जो पूरा खाका है, उसका पूरा दर्पण जनता देख सकेगी। घोड़ों की सुंदर
President Draupadi Murmu, escorted by the presidential cavalcade in a buggy, has arrived at the Parliament right now. There you can see these are the live visuals that we're getting right now from New Delhi. A short while ago, we also saw Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar arrive at the Parliament to welcome President Draupadi Murmu, who is here to commence the budget session of the Parliament today with an address to a joint sitting of both the houses. With that, President Draupadi Murmu has arrived at the Parliament. Today is the day that the Economic Survey of 2024 to 2025 will be tabled in both Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, which will provide an official assessment of the performance of the economy in the ongoing financial year, as well as list out the challenges. There you can see on your screens right now Speaker Om Birla, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar, as well as Prime Minister Narendra Modi. We also heard Prime Minister Narendra Modi's address to the media a short while ago, where he focused on innovation, inclusion as foundations for the upcoming budget and the economic roadmap.